Okay, so there's a question I've been wanting to weigh in on for some time, and now seems like as good a time as any. But first, I want to throw it out to you guys. Does pineapple go on pizza?
Yes.
Oh, let's be scientific about this. If you say yes, make some noise.
Woo!
If you say no, make some noise.
Whoa!
Okay, here's the thing. You're all wrong. If somebody asks you if pineapple goes on pizza, the only appropriate response is annoyed silence. And I should know, because I'm an expert on annoyed silence. I've been dealing with it my whole life. I've been on the receiving end of annoyed silence, and I've been on the giving end of it. So if any of you were silently annoyed when I asked you that question, you should take a moment to do this. Why is it annoyed silence? Because ultimately, this is an unimportant question, and it's really just a matter of your personal preference. And I understand people are just having fun with it, which is great, but it distracts us from important questions which definitely have an answer and we need to be answering, such as, should we make daylight saving time permanent? Now, I'm not even going to ask you because I can tell you're an intelligent group of people. You don't like it when the sun goes down at 4:30 any more than I do. But yeah, there's people out there that still are in favor of this archaic system that we have. And we're not going to convert them by talking about pineapple on pizza. Do you know that in the 1970s they tried to make daylight saving time permanent? And they immediately backtracked because that winter, 8 school children, 8 out of millions in this country, were hit by cars in the early morning darkness. And everybody said, oh my God, kids are getting hit by cars. This has never happened before. We need to go back to the old ways. The old ways are the only true ways. And I have to admit, they've got a point. You never hear about kids getting hit by cars anymore. I saw a kid earlier today running across 6 lanes of traffic while blindfolded, and he got great results. But this is like the mentality that we're working with here, people. And I'll tell you, just full disclosure, I do not like pineapple on pizza, but you pro-pineapple on pizza people, if you'll just help me with this daylight saving time thing, I will never eat another pizza that doesn't have pineapple on it. You can come over to my house with a whole pineapple and slap it down in the middle of the pie, and I'll eat it because I can't take the 4:30 sunset anymore. It makes me even more antisocial than I would have been otherwise. And again, full disclosure, you probably couldn't tell, but I am a little bit antisocial. And you know what the worst thing is about being antisocial? Other people. No offense. And it's not really other people. You all seem really cool, but if you get enough other people together, they form this thing called a society. And societies are no good for you if you're antisocial. They make you more antisocial. It's like the daylight saving time thing. That was, a society does that. And it's like even the parts of a society that you would think would be perfect for an antisocial person are not. For example, call centers. Don't you think a call center would be perfect for somebody like me? You don't have to leave your house. You don't have to have a face-to-face conversation. You don't have to have somebody looking at you, which is the worst. No offense. But I'm telling you, the other day, I needed to call customer service. This very pleasant gentleman answered the phone. Thank you for calling Either Or Order Fulfillment. This is Victor speaking. So far, so good. I don't have a problem with anything he just said. How could I? But clearly, the next words out of his mouth should have been, how can I help you today? But they weren't. He asked me a different question. Can anybody tell me what question he asked me? How are you doing today? Apparently, Victor and I go way back. Well, you know, Victor, I'm actually not doing that good. People keep asking me these irrelevant questions. But you know, I didn't say that to him because it's not Victor's fault that he's asking me irrelevant questions. It's society's fault. So, I just said, I'm doing okay. And then there was that little pause. You know about the little pause? It was clearly his turn to talk again, but he was waiting on me. And so, after a couple seconds of agony, and we're already so far off track, I said, "How are you doing?" And he said, "I'm doing great." And that's where it should have ended. But he said something after "I'm doing great." What did he say after "I'm doing great"? Thank you for asking. Victor, do you have like 15 dead bodies in your crawl space? But I didn't ask him that because it's not Victor's fault if he has 15 dead bodies in his crawl space. It's society's fault. And I didn't even say, "Well, you know, Victor, you don't really have to thank me. You kind of forced my hand there with that little pause there." I just said, "Victor, look, I understand that you're just trying to do your job, and I'm not trying to be difficult, but all I want to know is if you can give me a tracking number for my Fabergé egg." That's pretty good, right?
Yeah,
Tracking number for my Fabergé
Let me
egg.
look at what Fabergé is.
Originally, I was going to say Tiffany lamp, and I didn't like that, and I was like, "Ooh, Fabergé egg," and then I went. So yeah, this actually happened to me, but I did embellish it a little bit. But embellished or not embellished, the whole point is this took place in my own house. And yet it was still bad for me because you see my house and Victor's call center and Victor and me, myself, we're all in this society, and you can't get away from society even when you're when you're in your own house. And it's making me even more afraid of leaving my house now. I was afraid to come here tonight. I was afraid that when I parked my car and was walking up to the venue, this guy was going to run up to me. "Thank you for walking down Baxter Avenue. This is Victor, inexplicably talking to you. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had your girlfriend cheat on you with your best friend, and the only reason you found out about it was because she got pregnant?" And I'd be like, "No, Victor, I've never had that happen to me." "Have you?" "Yes, I have. Thank you for asking. But this is a long story. We should find a place to sit down." The moral of this story is, if you know somebody who's antisocial, don't ask them how they're doing. Ever. Because the answer is always, "I was doing better before you asked me that question."